This is the new moon that we're going to have on November 1st. We can see that the new moon is when the sun and the moon are together. They're going to be together in the 44. What you can see also is that we're going to have a grand water trine here. So we're going to have Mercury, Mars, and Neptune connecting in the water sign. We have the superficial water, or like the water where the sunshine can still come in and warm us. In Cancer, we have the very deep waters in Scorpio, the water transformation. And then we have Pisces, which is the limitless waters beyond what we can even tangibly understand and touch. So they are connecting, and Mercury actually likes to have clarity over things. He likes things to make sense, but Neptune is all about that kind of higher octave of things, being in Pisces, which is its home sign. And then we have Mars, who doesn't like to be in Cancer, but he's going to be in Cancer basically for months and months because he's going to get retrograde and he's going to stay there. So it's energy that's not necessarily comfortable that we are in right now. And we're going to have to look at a lot of things that is connected to our relationships. The 44 is about the soul fractal, and it's also about the interference that happens in relationships when we are not relating as our true self with the fractal, or when we're not even with our soul fractal. So these things are going to show themselves. It's in the third line. So there's definitely some energy that can be turbulent or even explosive. The new moon is a new start, but when it's in Scorpio, there might be things that need to die in order for that to start. We actually have a lot of planets right now that are in the very last degrees of a sign, like Neptune and Mars here. It's asking us for a kind of maturity, a maturity about the Cancer themes, like how we feel home in ourselves and around ourselves, like how are we set up what we call home, but also things that are way less tangible in the Pisces energy, and opening the veil when it comes to a deeper sense making of life that is not a sense making with the mind. But I think that there is almost like a marriage between what makes sense in a tangible sense and what makes sense in a spiritual sense. And they are connecting in the trine that we have here. So that's the energy of the week. And what we're doing next week, there are two different free things. So on the 4th of November, me and Alison are going to do a free call about the Dancing in the Abyss immersion. This is underworld stuff. So this is perfect for Scorpio. Medusa, Inanna, and Persephone all have to do with having to face the dark, being in the underworld, whether they decided to be there by themselves, like Inanna, or Persephone was just taken there. But all of them were finding their power when they were accepting or realizing both the light and the dark in themselves and the world. So this is, of course, about wholeness, but we're also going to include a little bit more like ritual and breath work and these kind of things rather than just learn about it. And the way that you work with them in human design is that you're going to look at your asteroids. So all of us are going to have Medusa somewhere in our chart, we're going to have Inanna somewhere in our chart, and Persephone. So looking at in your human design, what are the gates that are activated by those asteroids? That's how you make it personal. It's free to come in and get more information. And the whole entire thing is only $97. We even have a code right now so that it's $18 off. And then there is also this free series that we're doing with Rob starting on the Wednesday of next week for 3 days. We're doing it a little bit late in the afternoon. It's going to be 4 p.m. for us here on the East Coast. So we are going to introduce you to the whole star codon world. It was funny, I was posting about it and somebody was like, is that a typo? Is it supposed to say start codon? No, it's actually supposed to say star codon. It's really cool. It's a completely new way of looking at the gates and a completely new way of actually matching them with each other. It's of course based on the chemical makeup of them with amino acids, but it's just so cool to see new pairs being formed and actually seeing them as lovers kind of thing, seeing why are these two gates together and starting to unwind that. And some of them are similar as the codon rings, and some of them are not. They are different pairs that are together. One pair that I can tell you about is the 57 and the 18. That is the star codon of sovereignty. And I think that's super powerful. I have the 57 several times. Ashley has that too, and she also has the 18. And when I go into the essence of the combination of the 18 and the 57, I'm like, it's so true. There is so much of what we are about that has to do with that combination, those two keys together. And like that with all the 64. There's so many realizations to have. This is super advanced. I am not good at doing basic. What Rob Conbury is doing is not basic, but it can be done in a very embodied way because it's stripping out all the beautiful worlds and all the mechanics and just really going down to looking at all the different pairs. And then there's, of course, a bigger geometry, but we can take away a lot and just go into the essence and the embodied path or feeling with that. So if you're interested in coming into the whole mystery school and understand a geometry on a whole other level for a year with very applied students or participants, I think it could be something for you. I'm so looking forward to it. There has not been anything in my life since I found Gene Keys and Human Design over a decade ago that has touched me that deeply and that I spent that much time on without having to spend any time on it, like just choosing to be with it. Very powerful. And it doesn't discredit in any kind of way human design, Gene Keys, or astrology. It's actually what I would say the next octave of the awareness that we're able to hold. And I think that it doesn't make Ra or Rahu wrong in any way. Ra spoke about human design is the science of evolution. So I'm sure that he would have brought more in now because we would have been ready for more and he would have received more. So it's just the same transmission as we all are tuned into if we're here today. And there are new bits and pieces of seeing the whole geometry that any of us can receive if we're open. And that's why I feel like those calls as well, like why are we continuing to do these calls every single Tuesday, year after year? Yeah, there's always more to hold, more awareness to bring. So let's continue to do that. And let's continue to invite in the people amongst us that have the possibility to tap into a different perspective on the transmission and a different way of translating the transmission as well. That's important to me. Not making people wrong, but to welcome it. And then we all have, I think, together discernment of is this helpful or not. I was speaking with Alex over voice message the other day, and he has done the shadow keys. And some of you have seen that I've been posting about the shadow keys, and it goes into the shadow of the gene keys, and it's like exploring them and also connecting them to the Enneagram. And when I started to see him do that last year, I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's another perspective. And then I also brought to him that Richard Rudd says 10% focus on the shadow and the rest is the gift and the city, because the shadow is going to come anyway. Like we don't really have to focus on it. But then there might be those of us that is, no, but I really feel that my resonance is with a shadow. Yeah, okay, good. But is that, and then in the big field of it, should we all do that or not? And I think together we can have the discernment. And that's why it's not dangerous that somebody comes in with their own voice, with their own translation, with what resonates with them. Because together in the field, this is the star codon of morality or the codon ring of the Illuminati, which is very much part of that kind of bullshit detector. It sees if there is corruption. So if we hold the 44 that we're right now with a 50 that we were in last week, we have the possibility to overpose it on anything and say, is there harmony here or is there corruption? Is this creating interference in the field, or is this creating a way that we can work in a geometry that has more synergy? And that's what we, in the star code, and we're calling morality. So there is a morality of the collective, of the field as well, that as we are filtering things through, we can feel into, is this true or not? Or is this true for me? Does this resonate?